Welcome to our very first class. This is the introduction class, and I will be your instructor through this particular course. My name is Van Victor Omabuwa Thompson, and here we go with our course. So today we are going to start with the definition of drug. What is a drug? Now, there are several definitions of drugs that you can find online. I will go through just a few, and then I'll tell you which one is our favorite one and the one we are going to be using throughout the course of this particular training. Now, the Oxford Dictionary says a drug is a medicine or other substance which has a physiological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced to the body. Now, this definition is just okay for the English language, but it doesn't quite hit the nail on the head. Now, let's check out some other definitions we can see. The NCI definition, it says a drug is any substance that is used to prevent, diagnose, treat, or relieve symptoms of a disease or abnormal condition. Now, if we are to go by this definition, it would mean that drugs can only do good things for you because everybody who is into the drug study or the drug field knows one thing for sure, that every drug is a poison. So this definition doesn't quite hit the nail on the head. But I think a definition that is proper for me is a definition by Rangs and Dales, which says a drug is any chemical substance other than a nutrient or an essential dietary ingredient, which when administered to a living organism produces a biological effect. I think this is just the perfect definition of what a drug is. This hits the nail on the head directly, because any substance, any chemical substance at all, other than a nutritional substance or an essential dietary ingredient that can bring up biological change, whether good or bad for diagnostic purposes or for preventive, whatever it is, that is a drug, right? So now that we know what a drug is, I think it's only best for us who want to become pharmacists, assistants, or technicians to understand the roles or who a pharmacist is, first of all. So who is a pharmacist? Now, a pharmacist is a healthcare provider who gives you your prescriptions, but they are also an important member of the healthcare team. They are the person who knows the most about drugs, so they work with your doctor and other providers to ensure you are taking the correct medications at the right doses. Now, this definition doesn't quite cover what a pharmacy does or the roles of a pharmacy in the healthcare system or in the community or in the society. So in a nutshell, I will just let you know that a pharmacist's role depends on where he finds himself. If he finds himself in a community pharmacy, then he's just going to stick to counseling, dispensing the drugs, and maybe giving one-on-one patient education, doing follow-up and all that. If he's in the industry, food and drug manufacturing industries, he's involved in a lot of things, making sure that the ingredients are measured correctly and you do not, the producers or the manufacturers do not put the wrong ingredients into the final product. Now, in a public health setting, a pharmacist is more or less an educator, a public speaker, a motivator, somebody who educates the public. And under research and development, the pharmacist shows his true skills, his true knowledge of drugs in providing novel solutions or novel medications or novel drug dosage forms, however the case may be. And in the hospital, I think that definition that we just read now perfectly suits a hospital pharmacist and in some way a community pharmacist. Now, who is a pharmacist assistant? A pharmacist assistant is one whose role is to support the efficient functioning of a pharmacy and assist in the dispensing of medications. This is quite simple. This covers up mostly what a pharmacist assistant is about. But before we continue and before we expatiate on this, a lot of people ask, what's the difference between a pharmacist assistant and a pharmacist technician, since the both of them work in a pharmacy? And we can see that both of them, both pharmacy assistants and technicians, work under the supervision of the pharmacist, performing duties that often overlap. So many people be like, I'm an assistant, you're a technician, and there's no difference between us. So let's just have a look at what the difference is. Now, one of the major differences is that the pharmacy technicians have more clinical responsibilities than pharmacist assistants who perform clerical duties like handling transactions, stocking shelves, and answering phone calls, while the pharmacist technicians, one of the major things that differentiates a technician from an assistant is that a technician is usually certified. But if you want to be an assistant or you want to be a technician, you just need to have a high school diploma, know how to read and write. And if you're in this part of the world where I'm from, just make sure you have your A levels and your O levels rather, and you can go ahead and train yourself and undergo a certain training to become a pharmacist assistant, but just that a technician is more standard than an assistant. So now that we've got that out of the way, I really hope we've gotten that out of the way. Let's see what roles a pharmacy assistant is going to play in a pharmacy. Now, a pharmacy assistant will perform a variety of tasks, including receiving and processing prescription orders, measuring and packing dispensed medications, maintaining inventory, and providing customer service. So throughout the course of this program, we are going to narrow down our training to these 4 responsibilities. We are going to teach you how to receive and process prescription orders, and then you are going to know a lot about measuring and packaging medications, and then we go down into maintaining inventory, and lastly we are going to end with providing customer service. So I can't wait to meet you down the road. Give yourself a pat on your shoulder and get ready, because we are about to take the bull by its horn and we are about to go full speed on this course.